I'm Alex.
And we played a band called Go Radio.
Right. So, where did the band name originate from?
The band name was something that, you know, I'd like to say there was some huge, deep story behind it, but it's really just something that we thought kind of described what we wanted to do. You know, we wanted Go Radio to kind of, we wanted a band name that was going to say, these are our intentions, but our intentions are good. You know, like, we want to be a radio band, but the difference between the radio band that we want to be and what's on there now is vast.
Yeah.
You know, like, we want to change what's on the radio. We want to make radio, I guess,
a little bit better.
Better than it is.
Yeah, we want to make us on the radio, but we want to make the radio what we sound like, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It needs that. I don't know the last time I've, like, listened to a radio and liked it. How's the music scene in Tallahassee, and do you guys think being from Florida has helped or hindered you in any way?
Florida's amazing. You know, like, there's a reason I sing about it in all the songs, you know, like, Florida's absolutely incredible. The scene is kind of off and on.
Mm-hmm. It goes through phases, yeah, seems like it goes through cycles. Right now it's kind of an off cycle, yeah. but there's been a couple bands that have come out of there, you know. I mean, I guess Creed was one of the first ones to put Tallahassee itself right on the map, but actually,
Jefferson Starship was. I didn't know that.
Oh,
but
didn't know.
I think the scene, it does go in cycles, but as far as coming from Florida as a band, I think being a Florida band has definitely been something that has helped us. I think bands in Florida,
we all stick together.
Well. Yeah.
Bands in Florida all kind of unite, and, you know, like, for instance, like the ADTR tour, you know, like, fellow Florida band.
Yeah.
You know, like, there were a million other bands that they could have taken on tour, but we're from Florida. We used to hang out a bunch, you know, like, it helps out a lot.
Yeah.
It's a friendly scene in Florida.
Yeah. I know you're not from Florida, so.
Yeah, but I live there.
But now you are.
Florida now. Go Radio's from Florida, and I'm part of that.
Yes. I used to live in Tampa, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Probably know my little brother's band then, Select Start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't see them down there. I saw them in Philly before, so. Yeah. Because that's where I lived for, like, the last 3 years. And some people don't see, you know, being a musician as a real career necessarily, but I know you guys work crazy hard. So what are kind of some lessons that you guys have learned, either personally or business-wise, since starting the band?
Business-wise, don't take your debit card into a Vegas casino.
That's just a life lesson.
No, you know, being in a band has taught me personally a lot of stuff about, you know, just managing your resources, you know, whether it be money or food, or, you know, the time you have to talk with loved ones at home. You know, like, you have to plan out very carefully everything that you're doing, because there's not a lot of anything, you know?
Yeah.
And do you ever find it difficult to balance the artistry and business side of being a band?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the hardest part about being in a band is, you know, you be in a band, you're in a band with your closest friends, or in our case, people you consider family, and you really, there's a fine line between, you know, when you become a business, or the band starts taking place, you start having money involved, you start hiring people, you have managers, you have lawyers, when money's involved, it adds a certain complication, and you have to be very careful as to how you deal with that and not let it affect your friendships. Yeah. And I think that's a constant thing that is constantly going on.
The smartest thing we ever did was give control of that to someone else. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, the old saying, you don't mix, you know, family and money. You don't. You just don't. And this is a family, you know, and when it comes down to something, you know, like, well, first off, you got to keep everything fair regardless. Yeah. You know, like, no one in this band makes a cent more than anyone else in this band. But, you know, like, there will be different decisions that you have to make that you won't agree on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That you just won't. And it'll be 2 on 2 a lot of times for us, when one house going, no, we have to do it this way, and the other house going like, no, we're definitely doing it this way, and then we just scream. Yeah. And, you know, it's good to have someone else on the outside to go, you're both wrong because you're doing it this way.
Yeah, it's kind of like when that person helps with the business aspect, but it almost acts as like a counselor to your family.
Family counseling. Sit down.
It really is all about the people that you're in a band with and how you meet in the middle on certain things. But it's a very fun line with all that.
Yeah. And how was the transition from being an independent band to being signed to Fearless?
It was a slow process. You know, like a lot of people think that when you get signed, there's a party and balloons and
Cake.
21
We had a
gun
cake.
salute.
Did you?
We had a cake. But you know, we were actually in negotiations for this for what, about like 6 months?
At least it was at least a 6-month process, and probably there were 3 months before that the idea of just talking, like pitching our band to them was even before. So it was it was a long.
So, I mean, it's like there was at least 6 months where we knew for a fact we're definitely signing to Fearless.
Yeah.
We're not signed, but we're definitely signing to Fearless.
And
We agreed on it, and they agreed on it, but we just got to make it happen now. And so, like, by the time that you actually do get papers, you're just so incredibly relieved to see them. Because, I mean, like, you send contracts back and forth, and it's all very hairy, but by the time you actually do get to the actual signing, you're like, thank God, I need a nap.
And as far as like an artist standpoint, I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, there's definitely things that you can do as an independent band, or things that you can do on your own, and you do all those things to get to a certain point. But Fearless has really helped us get to that next level. They've taken our craft and things that we love, our songs, you know, and put it out in a mass appeal, put it in stores, and those are things that you can't really do by yourself unless I guess you know the right people. But they've helped us get to a whole new level that I don't think we would have been able to get to without them.
They've taught us so many things. I think is what really it comes down to is they've taught us things about, you know, how to hone our craft that you only learn from experience.
Yeah.
You know, and they've shown us so many things, and it's been amazing.
Okay. And how was recently releasing your first full length, Lucky Street?
Absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Like, it's one of those things like sitting back and watching it and just going, you know, okay. And that's another one of those things where we knew it was coming for so long, and we knew it was on the record. We just couldn't show anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really had to. We really kept it our own. A lot of records leaked, but we were like so like in house about this record.
No one had this record before it came out, and it's to see what people actually think about it before, you know, like I guess since we released it, to see what people are thinking about it, it's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of heart and honesty on the record, and the fact that it's finally out, the fact that we can say, you know, or I can say personally that I finally have a full-length record out and all that. I mean, the process of recording it and the process of mixing it and everything, it's a process that I don't think any one of us will ever forget, and it's relieving to have it out and to be able to play it in front of people and all
share
that. It's absolutely share it. That's a great way to put it.
I also think it's awesome. You know, I walked into Target and saw it. I was like, that's incredible.
It still
like,
blows my mind.
I know.
My mom sends me pictures every time she goes into Walmart, and she's like, look at this. And I'm like, that is cool.
I think the coolest thing I've ever seen is someone sent me a picture of where it was.
Yeah.
Where, like, there's just a sign that says Go Radio, but all the CDs are gone. And I was
did.
That's amazing.
I walked into one. I didn't know there were, like, we had 2 Targets out here, and I walked into one, and it was, you know, gone. The little plate was there. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's very exciting.
And are there any changes or progressions that you guys have noticed in your music or yourselves from first starting out until now?
I think anyone that doesn't notice a change in themselves when they're playing music, especially for this period of time, just isn't looking. Everybody changes, like, regardless of what you do, everybody changes from day to day, let alone, you know, we've been doing this as a band for 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm proud of who we are. Each one of us individually and as a band, I'm very, very proud of who we are and who we've become. Everyone's kind of like turned into the adult that everyone's parents wishes they would have been, you know, like, and you know, we take care of ourselves and we take care of our family, and that's a lot more than a lot of people can say.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely important to grow as a band, and constantly, you know, every time you put out a record, you make new music to reinvent yourself in somewhat of a appropriate manner. Otherwise, you know, people are going to get bored, especially in today's world. You know, it's it's interesting to us. And if you're not growing as a musician, then what are we doing? You know, that's the best thing about being a musician is you constantly get better. You constantly learn from those that you're around. And you know, every band you tour with, I think every band I've toured with, I pick up something here or there, either from a tech or from something like that. So I think absolutely I've noticed a growth for sure.
Yeah. And are there any messages you guys try to convey through your music?
Just overall positivity. You know, like we all know that you know, stuff goes wrong and stuff sucks for a lot of people a lot of the time, but there's, you know, the proverbial silver lining. It does exist, and it is on everything, and you just gotta find it, and that's something that we try to do constantly, and that's something that we try to get our fans to do as well.
Yeah, I think you put it really well the other day, or recently. I've heard you say that
without the bitter, you can't fully appreciate the sweet.
Yeah, he has tons of these lines, but it's true. Like, it's a lot of these songs. You know, if you first listen, you're like, oh, that's a tough topic. It's a tough topic, but it's kind of, a lot of it's about seeing the light in the darkness, in the things that aren't, you know, seeing the positive things or the growth, you know, in the bad, you know.
Yeah, and I think that helps, like, listening to it. It's like, okay, you can tell it's a dark topic maybe, but then you find something uplifting in it.
Yeah.
So, I think that's good. And how was performing and speaking at the Grammy Museum yesterday for you guys?
It was so much fun.
Lots of fun.
Oh God, it was amazing. I
enjoyed it.
It's a place that I always wanted to go whenever we would come to LA. You know, like, I've always wanted to just go there and just look around. But to be invited to go and play and talk there is a huge deal. That's a huge honor for us.
Yeah, and it was also cool. It was, I think it was our first time doing, like, a live interview in front of, like, a live audience.
Yeah.
And actually one-on-one getting questions from fans or people that didn't even know or hadn't heard of our band until that time. Ask us questions and stuff. And it really was. It was quite an honor and overwhelming to be surrounded by all these fantastic, amazing, historical moments in music history, and there you are sitting there. And then also we found out that, like, in a little bit, Kenny Chesney, or like next week, Kenny Chesney's playing that exact same stage, and like recently some other amazing acts have played there, so it was cool.
It was Clive Davis stage on Clive Davis's birthday.
Yeah, it was his birthday.
Oh my gosh,
too, and we were playing the Clive Davis stage, so pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Good omen, I suppose.
Yeah, that's why it went well. And is there something you look forward to most or least while touring?
I wish I could say there was. You know, tour is one of the only things that you can really count on as a constant. I know that sounds strange, but tour is a constant. You know, it is something that never changes. You know, like, we know we're going to be on tour. We don't know where we'll be, but we know we're not going to be home, and we know we're going to be on tour, and that is somewhat of a comfort.
Yeah.
You know, to know that at least that's staying the same, because absolutely nothing else is.
It's funny because you can have some of the worst days ever when you're on the road. You know, there are days where you're just surrounded by the same people every day, and it's tough, or you miss family, or you miss loved ones, or you just get sick and you can't get better because everyone around you is sick. But it's uplifting to know every night you get up in front of a growing audience, and we're literally watching this audience grow in front of us, a fan base. And so that sometimes we'll all be in the worst mood all day, and then we'll come off stage and we'll all just be like, that was awesome. It can be a complete day changer.
Yeah.
So that's the constant, is playing music and playing it in front of the people.
It's good.
It's good. And what are your upcoming plans for you guys? Tour.
We have a May run where we're out for 3 weeks. We do a headlining run. We're super pumped on that.
And we're bringing out label mates Sparks the Rescue and a band called This Century. And Select Start, which is also a Florida-based band. Which
we'll be doing the East Coast and Midwest on that. And then we do Warped Tour
all summer.
Excited.
Just stay on the road. This is the plan.
Yeah. And any last words?
Thank you. Overall, thank you. You know, like, I always try to end it like that. You know, like, thank you for doing the interview. Thank our fans for, you know, showing up tonight and, you know, making it known that we're welcome thousands of miles away from home. It's a huge deal to us.
It's a home away from